Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a little bit since I've done anything here. I've just been a little bit busy, tied up with work and things like that. So I did want to make this video. I wanted to do it for about the last week or so, but I decided today to do it. I mean, with all the things that are going on, I know there's a lot of uncertainty and unrest right now. I know with these bank failures and the unrest over in Europe, with Russia, China, and we have the Russian balloons flying over. We have the Russians taking out our drone over there. Just a lot of uncertainty. Um, I'm not here to try to scare you. It's just a reality of what's going on. So, I mean, if you're scared of that, then you're scared of reality. I don't know what else to tell you. But, um, you know, I was just kind of out shopping today. We went and got some things, and which kind of was what led me to do this today. Um, just because I've noticed, even in the last couple of weeks, how much things are going up in price considerably. Some of them. I mean, some of the stuff has gone. I actually have some things that we buy, even some canned goods that have doubled in price over the last year. They've definitely more than some of them have more than doubled. I know some of it is 50%, increases at least. So this, 7 to 11% inflation or whatever it is they're telling us is complete BS because it's that may be on a few things, but on a lot of the everyday stuff that we buy, I've definitely seen an increase. Some, like I said, upwards of 50 to 100% increases on some stuff. So, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't think your salaries have gone up 50 to 100% to offset the cost of that. So, I encourage you to get out and get the stuff you can now. If there's things you need, if there's things that you use every day and you're going shopping, try to, definitely get extra if you can, um, because it's never going to be cheaper than it is today at the rate we're going. I mean, even, whatever you can get, top off your gas tanks. If you have, you can keep an extra can or two of gas around because you got mower season coming up. You got, planting season coming up. So, you're going to need gas for your, tractors, rototillers, all that kind of stuff. So, and generators, if you have generators, you definitely want to keep some fuel on hand for that. So I was just grabbing some things that I wanted to have a little extra of that I don't always sometimes I kind of forget about, but and a few things on this list I haven't forgotten about, but I just added it because I just thought it'd be good things to have on hand. So I came up with 10 things that I'd recommend if just basically want to trigger in your mind to get if you think about it, or if it's stuff you do, that you do need. So I put this list together. I'm not going to take all day with this. I'm just going to go through it pretty quick and give you some, just hopefully trigger in your mind to maybe remember some things. And I might put another, some more of these lists together down the road as I come up with different things. Just like I said, nothing groundbreaking here. If you watch other channels, you're probably, if you've been if you've been preparing for a while, you probably have all this stuff and you already know this. But maybe not. Like I said, I've been doing this stuff for a long time, and there's still sometimes I'll go to get something and I'll be out of it, and I'm almost shocked that I'm out of it. Um, Example today was barbecue sauce. How I was out of that, I don't know. We had actually bought some at the store, and I went to put it in my pantry. I realized I didn't have any more here, which is surprising because that's stuff I use all the time, and I ran out. So it can happen. You can definitely run out. But some of the stuff is maybe things you don't necessarily think of. We always talk about canned goods and ammunition and all that kind of stuff, but these are just some basic things that you might forget about. So I'm going to switch the camera on. I'm just going to go through the list real quick, and hopefully it maybe triggers some things in your mind. And I'm doing this filming down on my workbench, so if you see some odd tools in the background, I do leather work on the side too. So um, that if you see anything that's strange on the bench, that's what those tools are. So the first thing that I really think is canning supplies. If you do your own canning, home canning, I know, but during the pandemic especially, I know it's picked up now. You can get the stuff in the stores now, but it's doubled. Some of these things have doubled in price. I know those small boxes of lids used to be like $1, even less. I know a lot of them now are over $2 to $3 maybe. These ones I've had on hand for a while, so I haven't bought any for a while. I have quite a bit on hand, so I haven't bought it, but I watched the prices and they have really jumped up. So definitely grab yourself some, the things. If you have jars, great. You grab your lids. They don't really go bad that I know of. I mean, I've had these, probably for a couple years, so everything's still good here. Um, but like I said, grab them if you have them or if you need them. The next thing was something I got today, and it made me think about it because I'm a contact lens wearer. I've worn glasses for years, and that is like contact lens solution. any eye care products that you might need, whether it's like I said, solution for your contacts, extra contacts. If you wear the disposable contacts, maybe definitely talk to your doctor about getting some extra pairs if you can afford it. I know they're not cheap, but wouldn't be a bad thing to have on hand, because if things aren't really bad, it's not going to get cheaper, and things could get difficult to get. And also, like reading glasses, I know you can buy reading glasses at like the Dollar Tree and Dollar General pretty cheap. I think Dollar Tree sells them for about $1, or what is it, $1.25 now. So you can always grab a pair or two of those, keep them in a box till you need them, because they do break. So I mean, I've sat on them, I've lost them, the temples fall off, things like that. So any of those kind of products would be good to have on hand. This is also something we picked up today, and I do keep this on hand, and that's spices for cooking. If you do a lot of cooking at home, we're always talking about stocking things up, but you definitely want to keep some of that stuff. It keeps things interesting. Your meals keeps them a little less bland, keeps it getting tiresome. You can make it a lot of different dishes with so there's so many different ways you can use it, and they're relatively cheap for the most part. I think you can get these ones at Walmart for probably around $1 a piece. So I always keep some of that on hand. Bleach. Now I know everybody's like, we already have it, we do it, we use it for laundry. No, I get it, everybody has it on hand, but you can also use bleach for a lot of other things, not just cleaning clothes. You can use that for from general cleaning. You can dilute it. But one big one is water for purification. And, a lot of people don't think about that kind of stuff. But, if something goes down, if your grid goes down, you have to get water maybe from an alternate source, maybe a stream, near your house or whatever. Maybe your well gets a little bit, a little questionable when you want to filter the water. Bleach is definitely the way to do it. I can't believe I can't remember the ratio, but I believe it's 4 drops per gallon of bleach. And you have to leave it sit for, I forget how many hours, but definitely look it up. I have it written down. I have it written down somewhere. I just don't remember. It's offhand, and I apologize, but it's pretty simple to find that ratio. You can find that. You can Google that, water for purification with bleach, anywhere online, and you'll get that information. But a lot of different a lot of different things that you can use that for also. Another thing is socks and underwear. And I know at one point during the pandemic, I had gone out and I was low on socks, and I actually went to the store and they were very, very low. And I'm kind of fussy. I don't wear the real low socks, but so these are thermal socks. I mean, I wouldn't wear these on an everyday basis, but things like that are good to have on hand. Underwear, socks, even pick up a couple extra pairs of t-shirts, jeans. If you see them on sale, it don't hurt to put some clothes back. Put some clothes back. Even shoes. If you find shoes, maybe you have a few extra pairs, put them back. If you see them, a sale or something, maybe grab them, if they're cheap. This stuff, it always will help. Even if, maybe you run low on money, you have a job loss, and, you're running low on stuff, you can keep this kind of stuff. At least you have one less thing you have to worry about. So, like I said, socks and underwear is one of the big ones. Next thing is batteries, and every prepper channel is going to tell you about batteries. I get it. But it's just something I just picked up a couple packs today, so I had them sitting here. So that was one of the things I wanted to throw in there. Because even if nothing else, you keep them for your television remote. You're going to wish you had them, because most people don't even know how to change a TV channel without a remote these days. So your flashlights, use them. These I always keep AAAs, AA's. Depending what you have, you might have some C batteries, the little small, the C2032s. I know there's some different sizes. If you have optics for your firearms, I know most of them use the little small batteries. You might want to keep those on hand for that also. Like I said, handheld radios, and for your kids. I mean, if your power's out, you're going to be very limited. If you can keep your kids occupied with some handheld games or toys, depending on how old they are, and you got batteries on hand, you're probably going to be thanking yourself that you got them, because at least it'll maybe keep them quiet for a little bit. The next thing, garden seeds. This is now, we're getting into garden season now, and there's not a shortage on these by any means right now. I mean, you can get these everywhere. Some of these I've seen them, Dollar General, Walmart, even some of the grocery stores you'll go into, and they'll have a little display. I grab them all the time. I keep them. I have a few, probably a few years worth. Do a little more research into how to store them. Obviously, you want to keep them in a cool, dry place. Some people keep them in a freezer. I don't. My basement's pretty cool down here, so I keep them stored, down here. And So far, I haven't had any problem. I've planted seeds that were a couple years old and had no issues with them. So, but do your research on that too. Depending on climates, things like that. It could vary where you live. Maybe you live in a more humid environment. You would definitely want to keep them dry. You don't want to get them wet. And temperature has a lot to do with it. How cool you keep them. Like I said, some people keep seeds in the freezer. I don't do that. Like I said, I've got had pretty good luck with keeping them a couple of years. So one other thing to keep in mind: hygiene stuff. You don't want bad breath. You don't want to stink, and you don't want your hair to look nasty. So even in the worst of times, nobody wants to smell your nasty breath. So keep some toothpaste. Get some extra toothpaste when you go. That stuff is going up in price also. So it ain't going to get any cheaper. Like I said, shampoo, whatever brands you use. I mean, I would, even if you use the expensive ones, maybe keep a couple extra bottles of inexpensive stuff around. Because like I said, you still want to stay clean. Even maybe keep some extra toothbrushes, hair brushes, whatever you need. I wouldn't go crazy with real fancy stuff. I mean, things go bad, you're just gonna wish you had something to keep it clean. But toothpaste is a big one because you want to keep during any kind of bad situation, you still want to keep your mouth in decent order because you can start getting tooth problems. You can end up with other health problems. So definitely keep in mind that. Next thing on my list: pet supplies, pet food. Whether you have dogs, cats, if you have livestock, if you have chickens, obviously if you have cows and pigs, I can't speak to that because I don't have large animals. I do have chickens, so I do keep extra food on hand. I have dogs. I don't typically feed them a lot of canned food. I know sometimes when they're not feeling well, they won't eat the dry food, so we'll give them this. But I do keep this on hand. I mean, I keep it here just in case because it does keep for a long time. I believe some of these cans have a 2 to 3 year shelf life, I believe, on them. So I do keep those on hand. Always good to have. And depending on what you're, even maybe some extra dog treats, things like that. If they need medicines, maybe some flea collars, frontline, whatever you use, Seresto collars, things like that, flea and tick prevention. Any kind of those pet supplies is good to have on hand. Now, the last thing that I was thinking of is laundry, laundry detergent, um, and also alternative ways. I don't have it. I didn't put it in front of me. Obviously, you all know what laundry detergent is. At least I hope so. And if you don't, I guess you mentioned time for you to find out. But um, and also alternative ways of washing clothes. There's a lot of good videos I've seen where people have taken like 5-gallon buckets and they've used toilet plungers, new ones obviously, um, and they've made their own basically little washing machines out of them. You have to have the wash, the wash and the rinse, things like that, and you can hang them out to dry. I mean, a dryer is not really necessary to keep clothes clean. You can hang them. You can hang them in your basement or in your living room if you're so inclined to put a clothesline up. So, you definitely want to keep clean if things get a little out of hand or you know powers out, whatever. There's a lot of alternatives. I'm not going to go through the many methods of doing that. If you still have power and you have a generator, your washing machine's still going to be up. But a lot of this stuff is to keep on hand too. You never know when you have a job loss, when you have maybe some extra bills, and you're a little low on funds for the month. Having all this other extra stuff on hand can actually ease a little bit of your burden too. By having a little extra food, having a little extra in your freezer, even in what we call good times. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. It only takes one incident that maybe you need a new set of tires on your car this month and you're a little short. You don't have much to go to the grocery store. Well, at least you don't have to worry about it because you got some extra stuff on hand. So that's it for today. I won't drag on anymore, but just some things to think about. Like I said, I might put another one of these lists two together down the road if I come up with some other ideas, because I think of things like this all the time and run into different things. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe and recommend it to your friends. Hopefully you got some good advice from it, some good ideas, and remember, be prepared. And like I say, preparedness shouldn't be scary, but not being prepared should scare the hell out of you. So take this information for what it is. Keep your eyes open with the news. Keep informed of what's going on, because it is very important right now what's going on, and you're not going to hear it. Seek out alternative sources of things because you're not going to hear it on the mainstream media. They're not going to tell you the truth, and they're going to distract you. So anyway, thanks a lot for stopping by, and I'll talk to you next time.